Welcome everybody to another episode of GaysideStories, where the gay shit goes. I am your host Trillificent. I am pleased to be back for another week. Excited. I feel like I'm finally getting back into the groove of the show. I know I've been putting out shows, but as a creative, sometimes when you put out a product, you just know that it's not up to par. It's not your best. Last week's episode was like a stepping stone to getting back to where I was. And now I'm here. I feel good. I'm in the spot. I did my outline in advance. I feel Trillificent again. You know what I mean? All right.
Oh,
So,
cool.
as you can hear, I have a guest. But before I introduce the guest, make sure you guys are using the hashtag GaysidePod when you listen to the show. If you have commentary on Twitter or if you post on Facebook or Instagram, use that hashtag. If you listen on SoundCloud, feel free to leave comments, like, repost, do all of that good stuff, help spread the word, and get into this show. So, I have a guest. I have not had a guest in a while, so that's why another reason why I'm so excited, because having a guest, while it's more work, it's fun. Like, it's just fun to have conversations with people with different personalities, different perspectives. So this week, I'm actually going to let him introduce himself.
Okay. My name is Phalou, and I am the host of the Get Into It podcast. So pretty much what you need to know about me is that I'm like a 20-year-old,
Ooh, a
21-year-old.
baby. Ooh, a baby.
Yeah, I'm a child.
Yes. Similar behind the ears.
21-year-old black French dude. So yeah, I may not sound like the average French person, but I'm definitely like a whole ass French guy. Never stepped a foot in the US, all that shit. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm.
Okay, so first of all, shout out to the first international collaboration.
Yes, come on.
So, you're French, but you're actually of like direct African descent, right?
Yes, both of my parents are Senegalese immigrants.
Yeah, come on. See, that's one step away from Wakanda. I'm here for it.
Girl,
Here for it. All right.
let me tell you, bitch.
So you host a show called Get Into It, and it's a good show, like a short show, probably about what, 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's like a little quick, rundown of things you should get into.
Right. I
As far as
especially
culture and
like
music.
the music part, just because you
Yeah,
hear, especially with you being in France, but just having a different ear and having a different musical culture, you hear and you listen to things that I may not necessarily be aware of or privy to, or something that I would have to dig into. It almost reminds me sometimes of the music segment that they do on the Friend Zone when they start digging into these artists that I haven't heard of before and I have to do my
yeah,
research. It's kind of the same thing. But I do have a
exactly.
quick question about your podcast before we move on.
hmm
And that is, I noticed that you concentrate a lot on American topics, and I was just curious as to why.
Well, the thing is, I always wanted to have a podcast that would connect with a English speaking, audience, right?
Right.
So I would, so my scope of news is indeed always things that are geared towards American news. The reason is here in France, people aren't really into, American news like that. I mean, they are, but to like a certain extent, and they aren't passionate about it the way I am.
Right.
So, and on top of that, American people, it is no shade to America, really no shade, but it's kind of like self-centered. So if I were to have like my podcast in English, right, and talk about French news that aren't really interesting, to be honest, but hey, let's say I would talk about, French news and all that. I don't think that I would be able to connect with a US or even like English audience. So that's the real reason why. And it's just more exciting. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like
I
for me,
get
it's
it.
like I grew up in it. Okay, and it's what I am on social media and all that and acquainted to. Like, if you go to my YouTube account or Twitter account or whatever, it's just American people or just like British things, but no French thing. The French thing are like lame to me. French is like so white, not inclusive at all,
Oh
and
well.
niggas here like hotep like royalty, and it's like not for me. It's not my scene.
Yeah,
You know what I
no,
mean?
that makes sense. That
Yeah,
if you don't really connect with the culture that you're
yeah.
immersed in, and then English
Well,
speaking pop culture is so huge.
exactly.
So I get it. It makes sense. And I think also it provides an interesting perspective to have someone so far removed, but
Hmm.
really not. But it's
Yeah,
like, but you've never been immersed in the culture, but so it's kind of like you're on the outside looking in, but you've
exactly.
experienced the culture. So
Yeah.
that's a different perspective that you give. And I don't know what, for whatever reason, I keep thinking about the episode where you were like dragging Omarosa. And at first, I was like, what is this little French boy doing? Dragging. I mean, not that Omarosa doesn't need to have her ass dragged, but still. And that was what made me really think about that question. I was like, this little French boy dragging the shit out of Omarosa. That's so. It was random to me, but I got my life. So, anyway, speaking of life being received, we're going
Yes.
to move on to I'm resurrecting the school and life segment. I have not forgotten, but shit happens. So, I believe we have the same school and life. So, this is
Yep.
going to turn
I
into a
think
mini
too.
standing session. If you don't
Hmm.
like it, I mean,
Girl, get you
fast
this again.
forward a few, hit that 30-second fast forward on whatever podcast app that you use.
Hmm.
Maybe about 4 times or so. Anyway, so our school in life is that On the Run 2 has not only been confirmed, the tickets have pre-sale tickets have already gone on sale. And let me just tell you, I got my tickets. Nikki and you guys have heard me talk about Nikki, aka Texas Hummingbird, on Twitter. We got our
Hmm.
tickets. We will be in the place in September. September is so far away. So that's the only thing that really annoys me about this.
Hmm. But the
But
thing is, sorry to interrupt you, but here in France, we already have like the final tickets because the dates in France are
earlier, yeah.
July 14.
Yeah, y'all's dates are a lot earlier.
But the thing is, with me personally, I'm at a crossroad in my life right now. Let me tell you
Uh-oh.
why. Uh, I don't know where I'm going to be in the next few months because I'm
No,
currently in the
that's real.
process of graduating from college, and after that, I'm supposed to perform and carry out a internship in the U.S. Right?
Oh, shout out to you. Congratulations.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's still like in the talks and
Yeah,
negotiating and find out where I want to go because I have like a friend of mine here that is helping me a lot and try to like place me somewhere. But I might end up in ATL or Philadelphia. And, I don't know where I'm going to be in
yeah,
the US,
yeah.
right?
And the
And
US
I'm
is
like,
big, so you got a lot of options.
yes, okay. And I don't know where I'm going to be. And the thing is, in July, I don't even know if I'm going to be in France. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I want to take my because I did took the fucking tickets, but I'm like I want to be there in France, but I probably won't be. So I'm gonna sell them afterwards, perhaps. But I don't know. I'm like at a crossroad right now, and the fact that Beyonce releases her tour on like at this point in my life, I'm like, girl, why you gotta do me like that? Like, why you got?
You
Like, I've been
know,
faithful for the
Beyonce doesn't
past.
care about what you have going on in your life.
Exact.
She doesn't care about your financial situation. She doesn't care about your mental health. She doesn't care. She does what
Mm-hmm.
she wants when she wants to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here for it.
Aren't you
Like Crystal
truly
said
mad?
on the read,
Mm-hmm.
when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So if you had your B savings fund,
Oh yeah, I did that for
then
Formation World Tour. Then I did not did that for On the Run, but I still managed to get my coins. But for the Formation World Tour, I had my B fund. Like I really was prepared. I
absolutely
was
you
like,
have to
you
be
ain't calling me
prepared.
off garbage. I'm not playing.
Listen, I wasn't
But
playing. Like I told y'all before, I went to formation 3 times. I wasn't
Yes.
supposed to,
Well,
but it just happened to work out that there was a show in Baltimore like the day after my birthday. So, and I was like, I don't want to miss the chance to go experience Beyonce with two of my
mhm.
closest friends, Juanita and Bree. So anyway, we're not talking about Formation. We're talking about On the Run 2. I'm
A little bit mad that Jay-Z's
excited.
there.
I'm not. I mean, I, you know, this is one of those things where it's like I get fans and the Beehive. I get how y'all are upset on Beyonce's behalf.
I
However,
think,
the thing
mm,
about it is Beyonce and Jay Z are already past whatever happened. Like she
yeah,
would
but
not have put it in her music if they were still going through. Like y'all have to
true.
realize this is stuff that happened probably years ago.
Years ago, yeah,
You know what I
definitely.
mean? So for y'all to still
Hmm.
be that mad, and for me, I went to the first On the Run, and I've seen Jay Z. I think I went to when he was on tour with Justin Timberlake. Jay Z puts on a good show, so I'm not mad. Plus, I mean, it's Jay fucking Z. Like, I mean, if you
Yeah,
a pure Beyonce, if fan, then I guess. But the whole, I mean, some of the jokes are funny, but overall, I feel like we're starting to creep into the territory of it being weird
hmm,
because it's like y'all are really upset about
yeah,
like this is not
hmm,
y'all's marriage. I
true,
know he
true.
disres and at the end of the day, the the things that happen, number one, can't be changed. Number
First
two,
of
have
all,
already been dealt with, and number three, gave us lemonade. So you
but
sometimes you got to take the good with the bad. You know,
true,
that's
true, true.
all I'm saying.
But personally, the reason why I'm mad Jay-Z is there's not because he cheated on Beyonce, all that shit. Like, it's these people aren't, they're like a friend of mine, so it's not that. It's more
Right.
so, to be honest, if Jay-Z's on stage, it just means like less time for Beyonce to perform. It's just that.
Yeah, but well, the
It
thing
is
about it
just,
is, if they do it anything like, or if they improve on the way that
hmm
they did the
they're gonna
first
do
On
things
the
together, yeah.
Run, then I don't know. Everything to me, because
Mm.
everybody did not enjoy On the Run. But to me, the way that they did it, it was so seamless. And sometimes you would have Beyonce and her girls out there dancing while Jay Z was performing. So it was like everything was so fast paced that you
Mm.
didn't really get a chance to miss Beyonce when she wasn't on
Okay,
stage.
well, from that part, okay, from that perspective, okay, I could see
You
how
know
it
what I
could
mean?
work.
Because it's not like Beyonce performs and then the
Mm.
stage goes dark for like 10 seconds and then Jay-Z, like they bounce off of each other, their songs mesh
Mm.
into each other, like it's an ongoing thing. They perform their songs together, they toss it back and forth.
Yeah,
So I mean it's non-stop except for the breaks where they take a break and they change clothes. Like
yeah.
outside of that, it's nonstop. And
Okay.
I think a lot of people, like I said, they may not be Jay Z fans and they may not listen to Jay Z in their everyday life because I don't listen. I'm a Jay Z fan, but I don't listen to rap like that.
Yeah, me too.
But when I was in the stadium and just experiencing on the first On the Run, and he starts hitting those old classics, you know,
Mm.
you start getting your life because it's Jay Z when he busts
Yeah.
out with Hard Knock Life or what's another Jay Z song? I don't know,
I just want to see. I just want to hear like Family Cheese.
Izzo or you know what I'm saying? It's one of his old, one of his older songs.
Hmm.
And you see, I mean, everybody's getting. I mean, number one, if I'm going to if I'm spending money on a concert, like I'm not going into it with a bad attitude. Like
Oh
I'm
no, you
not going to
get your
enjoy
lives.
Jay Z. Like no, I'm going to enjoy Jay Z. I'm going to enjoy Beyonce, and I'm going to enjoy whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? There may be
Mm.
libations, whatever the case may be.
Oh
Because I
yeah.
remember, I think when I went to On the oh god, when I went to On the Run and I had that strawberry, oh Jesus Christ. And my friend was making fun of me because we had listened to the Mango Rita episode of The Read. And he was like, "So, how do you feel?" So he kept asking me, "How did I feel when I was drinking that strawberry?" And I was like, it's so hot. Like, it's very hot. Anyway, so school and life. we are excited for Beyonce and Jay-Z for On the Run 2. And that's that. I was going to get into another point, but I'm not about to spend time because I don't argue over the queen. It's
Yeah.
unnecessary. Like, I don't need to defend her over stupid remarks that y'all out here making. Y'all miserable, and it just shows. So, we're going to move on to the Come Quick segment.
Yes.
I'm gonna come, sir. Oh, yeah!
So, first and foremost, I resurrected the Twitter polls. I just, I was sitting at work and I was like, I haven't done a Twitter poll in a while, so let me go ahead and do this. So, the question is, in your opinion, or your experience, because, hey, you never know.
You never know.
What is the length of time that one should wait before Netflix and chill becomes Netflix and drill? So the answers are 5 to 10 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, or 30 to 45 minutes. So with 35% of the vote as of now, with still 10 hours left in the poll, people saying 20 to 30 minutes. Like, that's all it takes, and it's time to get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
With 32% of the vote, it is 30 to 45 minutes. So, okay, we need a little bit more time to get comfortable. We need to make sure that we're not too invested in the movie or whatever it is that we're watching. We may even need to take a bathroom trip just to make sure that all your shit is in order. You know what I'm saying? Like, going
don't
through
be
the
painting nobody.
No. That is different. If you go to somebody's house for Netflix and chill, and your stomach is doing gymnastics, you need to go home. You do not go to their bathroom and try to take care of your issue. No, that is disgusting.
Like
that is disrespectful. And you probably will need your ass beat if you try that. No, when I say go to the bathroom, that means check out their shit. Make sure their bathroom is clean. If they have a medicine cabinet, go through the medicine. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your opportunity to do a little snooping to make sure that they are on the up and up. Yeah. All right? That is not the time. That is not the, like, if, no. If your stomach sounds like a battle royale, you need to exit stage left. Okay? With 18% of the vote is 10 to 20 minutes, y'all don't waste no time.
Yeah.
And with 15% of the vote is 5 to 10 minutes, which I feel like if it's 5 to 10 minutes, then why even bother with Netflix? Just come in.
Exactly.
Come in and get naked and get to whatever it is that y'all are planning on doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, why wait?
Well,
it's like a Snickers bar.
So what is your answer?
I don't really do Netflix and chill, so I'm not saying I've never done it. I just haven't. Y'all listen to this show. Y'all have heard me. Like, the thought of like another man in my space is disgusting to me at this point in my life. So, in a perfect world, or in a world where I was interested in other people, I probably would say 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay.
Now, if he extra fine, and he smell right, and his place clean, or he come over, if he comes to my place and he's, smelling right and looking right, probably more like 10 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
If we made a plan, hey, we're going to watch this movie or whatever, because I'm grown. Like, I don't need the pretense of Netflix and chill if you only coming over for, TNA. So it'll be more like 1 to 3 minutes. If it depends on what we've decided on. But shit happens. You might be like, hey, we're gonna watch Captain America Civil War, and then the next thing you know, y'all having a civil war via genital you never know what might happen. So I would say 10 to 20 to 30 minutes, and if we just are in the throes of passion, probably 10 to 20 minutes. What about you?
Okay. Wait, I do not necessarily like Netflix and chill, just because I'm really serious about Netflix. Okay, I'm when I
Listen, because
watching
Netflix is a
something.
paid service, okay? So I understand completely where you're coming from.
Okay, so I'm
Let's not
invested.
let's not trip.
Right. So I don't want to start some shows just for us to have this pretext to afterwards, get into it literally. So I'm like, you know what? I think it's like 5, 10 minutes tops. Because like, what are we doing here? Like you came in for Diddy, okay, and let me
Right.
provide you with this. And let's get it shaking. Not because I'm not gonna start some random ass shows for you and then later on go when I'm on Netflix and be like, continue watching, I don't know, freaking Queer Eye or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, no,
Yeah.
it
Well,
is way too
I
much.
think the order of steps is that whoever is hosting, you're supposed to put something on that is not going to be too interesting, or that the other person, like if a
Hmm.
person has been dying to see a movie and it's finally on Netflix, that's not the movie that you should put on.
Yeah,
Or
true,
maybe let me
true.
speak for myself, because if I missed it in the theaters, or if I was just too chicken shit to go see it, and I've been waiting
Hmm.
for the free option to see it, and it's on Netflix, and you invite me, I mean, I'm gonna be into the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like the dick is not going anywhere. In an hour and a half, it'll still be there, and we can do
First
what
of
we
all,
need to do. But if
hmm
I really been
like,
wanting
ain't
to
going
see this
nowhere, so
movie,
regardless.
you know what I'm saying? Again,
Hmm.
unless he extra fine and he's smelling extra good, and I
Yeah.
feel like Beyonce in the Soldier video, that's different.
Even in that case, it's like, what are we doing?
I
Like, if
mean,
we both know
because
from the
listen,
get-go,
well, I say that because pause is an option. You know, I'm just.
egg,
It really depends on the energy. It depends on the chemistry.
yeah, it's a matter of context here,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely. Okay, so speaking of energy,
Hmm.
the Avengers Infinity War trailer dropped, and let me just
Yes.
say that my body is ready. I'm still riding high off
From Black Panther.
of Black Panther. You know, I
Yes.
have accepted my position as M'Baku's personal fluffer, and I'm just ready. You know, I'm invested in the MCU. I've seen all the movies. I'm building my
Woo.
collection of them as we go,
Hmm.
and I'm just ready for the. I'm just ready. Like it looks fantastic. I'm very very curious to see how they're going to balance the movie with so many stars in it.
Yeah, there are a lot of
Because
people.
everybody and they goddamn white mama is in it. Because you know still
Ex-
only a handful of black people in it,
Let's be
and
real.
it's
It's like
and
Wakanda.
ain't nothing to nobody else. Like, well, I mean, I guess Zoe's Aldana, but she don't count because she green in the movie. Um.
And she says like on an interview that she
Oh
kind of
yeah,
like
did she
is
say she like not Latin? Whatever, she not black or whatever. Girl, bye.
whatever. Yeah, go on. But
But
I'm excited. I'm excited.
I'm very excited, and I've been talking in the group chat with friends of mine about who we think is gonna make it and who we don't think is gonna make it. I said personally, right now, the only ones I know are safe are
Hmm.
Black Widow and Black Panther, and that's because we know they have movies coming out later. Outside of
Well,
that, all bets are
that
off because I feel like Captain America ain't gonna make it. I feel like Tony Stark ain't gonna
Thor.
make it. I feel like Thor ain't gonna make it. Listen, that
Thor's gonna
that
die. Thor's gonna
scene
die.
where Thor was getting his head squeezed like a cantaloupe,
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, sweetie, you ain't gonna make it."
because Thanos, how is his name? Like Thanos? Thanos?
Thanos,
I don't know how
yeah,
you say it. But he's like that bitch. Like as far as villain
that
goes,
bitch,
he is
that
like the
bitch.
ultimate evil queen up in this bitch. So
Listen, and it's
like
been a buildup of how many movies since the
I don't
Avengers when
know,
we
but
first
it's like
saw him?
a fucking decade, bitch. Like it's
Wait,
been a minute.
was it the Avengers that we first saw him, or was it Guardians of the Galaxy? Whichever one. When
Oh,
we
it's
first saw
Avengers.
him.
Avengers came first. Guardians of the Galaxy came later, came afterwards.
Okay, so when we first saw that glimpse of him after the Chitauri got
Mhm.
their ass beat, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, y'all think y'all did something? I'm coming for them next."
But it's gonna be. I'm really interested in like in how they're gonna like beat him and defeat him. Like it's like what's gonna
Right,
be
because I
happening.
always thought that this was going to be a two-parter.
Me
So
too.
I
Me
feel
too.
like it's not going to be resolved in this first movie, and
Mm.
they don't want to call the second movie Infinity War 2, so it doesn't have a title. The one that's
Mm.
coming out next year. But again, and shout out to them for moving it up a week. Listen, everything, the stars are aligning for us to get our fucking lives in the movie theater, and I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Do
I'm
you think we're gonna
excited.
get to see M'Baku?
Yeah, because they're going to
Okay.
be in Wakanda, so we're going to see Okoye, Shuri, and Baku.
Okoye, Nakia.
I
Yes.
don't know about Nakia. I don't know about Nakia.
Oh, I want to see Lupita.
I haven't seen anything that has said that Lupita is in it. That doesn't mean that she's not, because hell, when Black Panther came out, we didn't know Sterling K. Brown was in it, and then his ass showed up, and we was like, well,
Yeah, I was
alrighty
shook.
then.
I was shook. Was like, oh my god, this is like Rendell from This Is Us. Like, oh my god, what's happening?
Yeah. And I remember somebody was like, I don't get it. He showed up out of nowhere. It didn't even make no sense. And I'm like, are you even listening to the movie? Like, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah,
about? His character is integral to the plot. What the fuck are you
ex
talking about?
he's
But,
so important.
people don't pay attention to movies. I'm like, if you're not going to listen and pay attention, then why go? You spend,
Stay at home.
anyway. I don't need to get into that. So, the things that I'm looking forward to, number one, about who's going to survive and who's not. I agree
Mhm.
with you. How are they going to beat him?
Yeah,
And number three, I want to know what they're going to do with Wakanda, because what I'm not here for is for this purple motherfucker coming through with his fucking gold bustier on and
gauntlets.
shit, dressed like Goldar from Power Rangers. What I'm not
Yeah,
here for is him coming through and fucking up Wakanda. Like, we just got Wakanda. All right?
yeah. We just got it. Like, don't fuck it up for
Don't
us.
fuck
Not
up the
that early on.
country. Like, come get your little stone and then move on.
But the thing is, like, I'm low key, but really like on the lowest key, rooting for him. Like, I don't know, it's just me being weird, but I don't want him like to kill people from Wakanda, but more so every other Avengers. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I feel like if Wakandans die, it's not gonna be like the named people. It'll be like, women of
Okay.
the Dora Milaje that we don't know. It's gonna
Yeah.
be, guys from the border tribe. Obviously, we don't know none of them because Wakabi bitch ass ought to be in somebody's prison.
Woo! Wakabi. Phew.
Yeah, we know. You know
Big
what? We don't
nasty.
even need to get in that because that ain't gonna do nothing but make my goddamn blood boil. So we have stand enough for Beyonce and the Avengers. So we're gonna move on to the main topic, which I think is pretty interesting. So
Very much so.
we're gonna talk about some dating tips for guys with anxiety. I came
Mm.
across this article, and the article is not really an article. It's one of those weird. Here's a picture, and you click through, and there's a little write up, and I was like, okay, girl. But I thought it was very interesting because we don't really talk about that very often. We don't talk about gays with
Mhm.
anxiety and trying to date and hook up and all that kind of stuff. We always talk about hookup culture and how it's dangerous, or attractive people are like, oh, y'all just complaining because y'all ugly. I mean, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Well, we don't talk about, or very seldom do we talk about, okay, it's not easy trying to talk to a guy, and it's not easy trying to date. And I think a lot of us have a level of anxiety whether we acknowledge it or not. And I mean,
Mm.
that's with anyone. You think about guys trying to talk to girls. Like, you're anxious when you try to do that, whether you're confident or not. It's just how we're built. So
Yes.
there are, I want to say, 12 tips, and we'll talk about each one, and then we will move on.
Okay.
So the first
Let
one
go.
says, get rid of any judgment surrounding your anxiety.
Mm.
See, so I don't like how they started this,
Me too.
because I feel like that's one of those easier said than done things.
Yeah, it's. I think the whole article is pretty much like a easier than said, done things.
Right.
You
And they
know,
don't
the
really
overall thing.
give good tips on how to do it. Like, how do
No,
you get rid of
they're
the
just like
judgment? Which
they're really like
judgment?
general statements.
Right, because it's immediately my first question is, well, which judgment are we talking about? Are we talking about self-judgment? Are we talking about
Mm-hmm.
external judgment? Which
Mm.
judgment do we need to get away from? And this is a bad place to start because, again, like I just said, a lot of people don't even realize that they deal with issues of anxiety when it comes to dating. So, knowing yourself, I think, is a first step, and realizing the anxiety that you may feel when you try to do something in the realm of dating should be the first step, you know? And then
Yes.
you may be able to ascertain any areas of judgment, but you're not going to come out the gate and being like, "Ooh, okay, I'm sweating my pits. Like I'm just trying to talk to this dude, but I smell some judgment. Let me get that Like it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean?
No, it does not.
So I
But I
felt
think
like that
what
first
they
one was weird.
mentioned here is that they wanted to talk about how much people can judge you, and not necessarily like internal, but more so external judgment,
Right.
and how it was more so being forthcoming, from the jump to whomever you are dating, and be like, okay, so hey, I get anxious, and that's okay, which I think personally should be something to be talked about, but not so early on. You know what I mean? Because,
Yeah, that
like I
sounds
said
weird
earlier,
to me. Like,
yeah,
okay, so you in the club and you see somebody that you're attracted to, and you walk up to them and be like, "Now listen, I get really anxious," but I think like that. That's a weird
yeah,
opening too. Like
yeah.
some people might find that cute and flattering, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like some people might also find that off-putting because it's like you're opening with your problems. That's kind of
Yeah.
weird.
But I think the thing is that's really like bad in that situation is that you're kind of like making it a thing like from the get-go,
Right.
and
And it's
that may
like you're
be like an
feeding it.
issue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
because
You're feeding it by giving it so much attention. I feel like that's one of those things where you're
exactly.
internally like, okay, I'm an anxious person or this makes me anxious, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then
Mhm.
you summon up your strength and you do it.
And you do it.
But giving it a life of its own, I don't know if I agree with that because that just seems like it'll. I'm putting myself in this position and I'm like, okay, if I'm anxious to talk to a guy and I acknowledge that I'm anxious and then I say it out loud and then I tell him, like, I feel like that's just giving it legs.
Yeah.
Whereas I could have kept it to myself and pushed through because then it's like, okay, you tell somebody, hey, I'm anxious, but I wanted to talk to you anyway. And they're like, sis, no. Then you
Girl, get
got,
it together.
you have your unchecked anxiety, and then you're gonna have rejection piled. I don't know. It just seems very strange to me.
It is strange, but I think if you really want to be like forthcoming about it, you need like to play it off like a joke. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like
I
try to like
also,
ease your way in
yeah,
with
I
that.
agree. I also think the context matters, like
Exactly, yeah.
the setting, because I could see how that could be kind of cute if it's like you walk into Starbucks to get you a chocolate scone and you see
Hmm.
somebody in the corner reading and you're like, hey, I'm really nervous to come and talk to you, but
Mm.
I couldn't leave without, you know what I mean? Like that would
That could be
be,
cute.
that
That could
could
be
be
really
cute,
cute. Yeah.
but if you in the club with the oonce music and you're like, I get so anxious, but I just wanted to come over here and talk to you, that I would be like,
Okay, sis.
you at
Girl.
least could have came with a drink in your hand, like, bitch, what the
At least, man.
fuck?
Comes some libation shit, like the fuck.
Okay, like something like shit, and the drink ain't for me; it's for you. Okay, the second one it says decide whether grinder is helping or hurting.
This one got me mad.
Why? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because I feel as though you have to like reach a certain level of emotional intelligence for you to be like, okay, I'm on Grinder and this makes me anxious. Just like uninstall the app, bitch. Like, don't you know what I mean? Like, why would you put yourself in a situation when you know it is a source of anxiety for you? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, if and I get and the fact that niggas that you don't even know like that may have that kind of like control over you. For me personally, I think it is problematic because
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say something similar, where it's kind of like I feel like these articles, these write ups, they are accurate to a point when they start talking about, which we can tell this is from the white gays because they only mention grinder.
yeah, that like no
Which,
tag,
but
no anything.
although I take that back because I think grinder is regional on who uses it. Like here where I live, grinder is for the white boys and the other white meat loving, the other white meat, the white meat, the other white meat, and the dark meat that loves them. Whereas Jacked is
Mm-hmm.
mostly dark meat. You know what I
Well,
mean? But
in
then
France,
you could
it's
go
like just right.
somewhere else. Like I traveled somewhere for work once, and I opened Grinder, and it was nothing but niggas. And I opened Jacked, and I was like, it was nothing but white boys. And I was like, wait a minute.
Hold on.
So it is. I think Grinder probably can be a substitute for any of the apps. But my point is that while they shed some light on these things, and it is true what they say about the power that the apps have, I also feel like they give the apps too much power.
True.
Because
true.
if I'm thinking about my dating anxiety, or like when I think about any issues I have with dating or with men, a specific app does not come to mind. I'm not like, well, I can't get a date because Grindr is so boo boo, or I don't get. I'm just like, what is it within me? And I want to piggyback on what you said about the emotional intelligence, because I have that where I can look and say, it's not Jacked. I mean, you get what you get because Jacked is Jacked. You get what you get because Grindr is Grindr. But how am I internalizing it? How am I responding? How am I feeding into it? What am I presenting? It's all about me. It's not the app is just a tool. You know what I mean?
And I think it can be a place when you can like lose yourself, and also, whereas the person like you're presenting to other people on Grindr, and if that like causes for you a source of anxiety, it means that that person you're presenting kind of like is overlapping on who you are. And I think that can be problematic.
Exactly. And I also feel like a lot of times these apps, people, and I've been there, which is why I can say that, we use them as a scapegoat. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, oh, I can't find a man because everybody on Jacked is just looking for this or just looking for that. And it's like,
It's not true.
You know, there may be some truth into it. There may not be. But if that is going to be what you use to swear off dating, or to be problematic and be that person that morphs from a normal profile to one of those angry ass, don't even hit me up if you're doing this, or if you're not doing that, I don't want no sissies and no fags. And it's like, sis, this is Jacked. What are you talking about?
That's the thing, because this is what the articles mentions is about how, you can tackle some racism and body shaming and all that through these apps. And if you get offended by, these white guys are like, no fat, no femmes, no rice, no spice, no nothing.
That shit there.
Which is something that not to like say something about Friends and be like being better or anything, but I haven't really, like, I heard of it in the US a lot, but here in France, white gays are like fetishizing the fuck out of black men. Like, it's crazy. So black men and people of color in general, so they aren't really discriminating, they're more so fetishizing the fuck out of you, but that's another subject for another day. But I feel as though you need to be like, have like some sort of mental, check with yourself and be like, okay, I'm going on there knowing that these people ain't shit.
Right,
okay.
Right.
So why? So the question is, how can I navigate into that space and still keep my sanity here? You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you feel as though that afterwards this shit still gets to you, it's your cue for you to uninstall the app.
Right. Yeah. So there we can agree where you decide, okay, this is hurting, it's not helping my situation.
Yeah.
But the last point on that I wanted to make, I was going in that direction, is because I saw on Twitter this week where somebody posted a screenshot and somebody had on their profile or something, I don't know, whatever it was. Hopefully it was a joke, but I don't think it was. And if that person was joking, then someone else thinks the way that joke was laid
funny.
out. But they said, don't say hi or hello to me. Don't, keep all that effeminate language away from me. And I was like, what?
Girl. You know what? To be really honest with you, I kind of like when they do shit like that, so that I can know from the get-go not to talk to you. It's like, this piece of information is telling of who you are.
Absolutely.
So it's like, Thank you for giving me, the signal that I needed to avoid your ass because in any type of situation, this is not okay. Like, come on, come on.
Absolutely, but at the same time, I feel like in relation to this article, I almost feel like things like that and the angry profiles and the don't want to exchange 500 messages either, we gonna get to it, like all of those things.
Yeah,
I
these
feel
niggas.
like those are just ways, those are things that people have built so that they don't deal with whatever issues they have when it comes to the app, whether it's anxiety, fear of
Okay,
rejection.
I didn't see anything
You
like that,
know what
but
I
that's
mean?
really
It's
interesting.
almost like trying to create a rat maze with the app.
Mhm.
So if you jump through all of these hurdles and you do all this stuff, I don't have to deal with this emotional thing. Be it, like I
Mm,
said, be it anxiety, be it, you don't get any messages and that feeds your depression or whatever the case may be.
and
Just
you're making a great
food
point
for
here.
thought.
Yeah,
Okay, next up it says create comprehensive and honest dating profiles. I think that goes
girl.
without saying,
Yeah, but
but at the same time, you still have to cherry pick what you present. And
yeah,
and
you,
that
you you
goes
better
back to
curate their
what
own
we were
image.
just saying. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you decide that the representative that you're going to put on your profile is angry and cussing everybody out, I don't even know why I deal with you motherfuckers. I'm only here till next
Ooh, them
Tuesday
hoes
and
be
then I'm
talking their
deleted. And
shit.
it's just like, this
Girl,
is a
let me tell
lot.
you, that
I,
is so. I hate it. I
I,
hate it because they always like, nigga, you here. So what
right.
the fuck you talking about? Like you out here telling the girls that, yeah, like I don't know what I'm here with those motherfuckers, you 18 ass, single ass bitches, and I don't have time for this. But nigga, you still here.
You
You
are
still get your
here.
life from that
You're
app.
here
So what the
amongst
fuck?
us. And I,
Yeah.
I always find that very,
That gets on my nerve.
I want to say comical because I'm thinking to myself
Mm.
and I'm saying, your profile is your opportunity to put your best foot forward. Like that is your first impression. And I
Yes.
always find it very odd that someone would choose to put anger or disrespect or racism
Arrogant.
or
Mm.
arrogance or xenophobia or the plethora of negativity. Like you choose something negative, and I mean they write full. I mean it's like a Jane Austen novel. They are pissed. And I'm thinking to myself, you did all of that thumb thugging for what?
Yeah.
What are you attracting? I don't understand that because I see profiles like that and I'm like, no matter how fine the nigga is, I don't have time for that because I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like that will bleed over into other areas of life, even if you just hooking up,
Exactly.
because we all have stories where we trying to hook up with somebody and they start getting impatient or they start getting disrespectful, and
And you're like, it ain't that deep.
you
Chill.
like, bitch, I don't need dick that bad. I don't need
No.
pussy that bad. I don't need it that
And
bad for you to be talking crazy to me. You know what I mean?
I don't need that. I don't need it that bad from you. Let's keep it a buck
From
here.
you, I
Like,
mean, I don't need it that bad in general, but I damn sure don't need it from you when you're gonna start
mm,
talking crazy and disrespecting
yeah,
me.
because it's like
So,
telling. It's like, okay.
oh, absolutely, it's a red flag. What's redder than red? Shit, it's like a fuchsia flag. You know what I'm saying? It's waving right in your damn face, like,
Yeah,
abort
but
mission.
but for this third like advice, I think it's really like don't be a catching people. Pretty much, this is
Right.
what I got from it.
I think it's very important to be honest and upfront and comprehensive,
Mhm.
especially if you deal with anxiety. You want to try to take some of those what ifs off the table. And you can do
Yes,
that by being honest in your profile. What are you looking for? What are you willing to accept?
true, true,
Things of
and
that
that
nature. And you can do so without putting a negative foot forward. I'm here,
exactly.
I'm queer, get you, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think it's really interesting because being really honest on your dating profiles helps skim through people that you wouldn't, date on a known basis if you would have put something that was not as
Right.
truthful to who you are.
Not
So
as
it helps to
truthful.
like avoid people like being, for instance, if I say some shit like I'm a big anime fan and I love Beyonce and all that shit and all that, it can like like narrow it down to people that might be more compatible with, and hence would not be problematic and cause anxiety ultimately. I
Right.
think.
I
So.
agree. I agree with that. Okay, so next it says get to know someone a little online before meeting up. So
I mean,
here's the thing
that's a
about
given for
this.
me, but
This
okay.
is a given, and in the year of our Lord 2018, where there are
Mhm.
still stories of people using apps like Jacked and Grinder to purposefully meet gay men or gay people or trans, because there are some trans people on there, and
Mhm.
rob them, kill them.
Yeah.
I'm always leery of. I start messaging with somebody and they like let's go right now, right now, right now, right now, and I'm like, I get not wanting to sit there and exchange messages for an hour, but that doesn't mean that you're gonna be in my space or I'm gonna be in your space within 3 messages. That's not how I operate. I don't think it's safe. And
Mhm.
to be honest, because I'm not perfect. I learned when I was in my 20s, and I did
Mhm.
that. Like my anxiety was through the roof because I'm one of those people who already thinks the worst. So I'm sitting there like, Lord, please don't let him have people ready to jump me.
Mhm.
Don't let them rob me. Don't let them steal my car. Don't let them try to be stealing my phone or my wallet or something. Because I don't know who I'm meeting.
That's true. That's that.
And
The thing is, for me, like in my younger days, I would say, because I'm still a baby, I was
absolutely.
quite reckless about,
Right.
situations
We
like
all have
these.
that reckless phase, and I think it's even
Yeah.
a little bit different because now, like with you being the age that you are, but with technology being where it is,
Hmm.
it's a little bit different kind of
Yes. Yes.
recklessness.
Definitely. Yeah.
Whereas when I was your age, we didn't have as much stuff as we have now. You know what I mean?
True.
So you could literally
Mm.
go to meet somebody and disappear and nobody would know.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
we didn't
Mm.
have online footprints. We didn't have all of the text messaging and stuff that we have now. Like that stuff slowly
Mm.
started to come around in my
Later on, yeah.
early 20s going into my mid to late 20s, you know what I mean? Whereas now, I'm so fucking paranoid. Like I'm the person who I have my location being shared with certain people at all times. So if
Hmm.
something happens to me, if something goes wrong, and that's just a fear that I have, at least they'll have a starting point of where was I last. You get what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's true.
So I
That's true.
absolutely feel like it's imperative, especially if you have real issues of anxiety, and I
Hmm. To
don't
talk, yeah,
whether
with the
it's
person.
it's self diagnosed or if you have actual
Clinical.
clinically,
Yeah.
diagnosed anxiety, it's imperative that you try to get to know the person a little, at least a little bit before you meet,
Yeah, definitely.
because you just never know in this world, and it's sad and it's unfortunate, but you never know. So next up it says, don't wear what makes you comfortable, wear what makes you confident. Now I disagree with this because
Can I
go
hold on?
ahead, go ahead, go
Sorry
ahead.
to. So just one thing for it's like a little tangent here, but on the article that they speak about the Queer Eye show. Have you seen it on Netflix?
I know I haven't watched it yet.
Well, I was like not in the mood to see it because I don't like when gay queer people do this thing when they try like to make them digestible for the straight people to watch. But after seeing it, it was actually really good. Whatever. And he on that article they mentioned Ten, which is like the Indian dude that is an expert of style, and he is hilarious, smart, and really stylish. And this is why we should watch the show. That is it. That's just me. Okay, you can go on.
um I feel like, yes, you should wear, if you have clothing that makes you feel confident, you should wear it. But I don't think
Hmm?
you should sacrifice comfortability in that journey. You know what I mean? Like you should still be comfortable. Now, I'm not saying that if you have a favorite pair of sweatpants that you wear those on a date. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is if
Yeah.
skinny jeans make you feel like you on display, then maybe not. You may feel confident because you done packed yourself into them skinny jeans and you giving leg, and you maybe if you blessed, you giving a little bit of booty meat too.
Yeah.
But if at the end of the day that that wears off and you start feeling self conscious, then that maybe not is what that might not be what you should wear.
Yeah, but the thing is
I think
here,
that it should be a good mix of this makes me feel good, it
exactly.
makes me feel comfortable, and it makes
Mm.
me feel confident. Like maybe you have a
Yeah,
shirt that is very unique and you can
exactly.
still feel comfortable and be confident because it's like I have a unique shirt on. It may even be a conversation starter type deal, or maybe you
Mm.
have like a pair of jewelry or something like that. But I
Yeah,
don't agree with completely sacrificing your comfortability because
yeah, but,
then you're gonna be sitting there anxious and self conscious, worrying about if your drawers riding up or something. You just never know. So
yeah. But here it doesn't have to be like exclusive. Like you can,
yeah,
it don't have to be like comfortable or confident. It can be both
it can and it should be
ultimately,
both. Yeah, I
and it should
think
be both. Yeah.
I think it should
And
be both.
personally, if I go on a
If you
date,
get
I'm here to stand.
confidence from clothing,
Yeah,
I think
true.
that's another thing because not
Because
everybody's confidence comes from completely their outer appearance or how they enhance their outer appearance. Some people's confidence comes from within. I don't get it.
mm.
Kudos to them, and I wish I was like you, but I am not. But I get it. Okay, so next up it says, try not to compare yourself to others, and I think this is a given.
this is a this is a
And this
given, and
is
it's also like in this
easier said
day and
than done.
age with, like you mentioned, social media and all that, this is what the right you want to go to. Compare yourself and feel shitty because you ain't look like the way the finance instigators look like. Or more so, for me, last year I was in a relationship, in a dating situation with this one dude, and he had like what you would deem a really conventionally good looking body, with muscles and all that. And I remember at that time being anxious and be like, okay, let me go to the gym, let me get this body together and match him, try like compare myself and be on his, level,
Yeah.
right? And I hate the gym so much. It makes me feel miserable. I hate it with every fiber of my bones. Like I hate it so much. But I still, got through it, and I was like, this is not helping me nor him because let's say that I'm still, and I get to his, his speed as far as fit goes. There's still a lack of self-love there because I should have
Right.
from the get-go being all right with who I am at this very moment. This is what I feel as well. So when you start comparing
Right.
yourself to somebody else, it's like, okay, there's something wrong with me, and perhaps that translates in a lack of self-esteem. And there's this like Instagram quote that people use a lot, but I think it's cute. Is that don't compare your behind the scenes to somebody else highlights reel. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you only get to see what people create as far as their image. Okay, you don't get to see the whole
Yeah.
picture. You get to
True.
see just that's one part of them, and that might confuse your head and mess with it into thinking that you're not good enough here. And I think there's a lot of self work to here, self appreciation to do, to be in that stage. But like you said, it's still a given. Don't compare yourself to anybody else
Yeah. I agree. I
because
think that
no,
it's a trap. It's a setup. And if you are truly, and again, this is why I said the article should have started with knowing yourself or being on a journey
exactly.
of knowing
Yeah,
yourself. Because if you know yourself well enough that you are have a tendency to compare yourself to other people, then that's something you can start addressing beforehand.
true, true.
Maybe even before you try to get into a dating situation, at least be on the journey of trying to figure it out versus it being something that you have to deal with and you don't have any foundation, you don't have any type of triggers or anything that'll help you kind of stamp that down a little bit and go on with what you need to be doing. And it's
Yes,
very easy to compare yourself to others, and
it's really easy to do that.
then you people this quote unquote this generation and social, which I hate, Whenever I hate when people blame everything on the generation or the social
Yeah,
media.
they do that a lot.
It gets on my damn nerves because there's nothing new under the sun. I've said that before.
Yeah, you said that. Definitely.
But I think, like I said before, if you don't know yourself or if you're not on a path to know yourself better, then you're not going to be properly equipped to deal with this.
Yes, true.
So next it says, don't let your anxiety manifest itself in being cold or bitchy. So
I don't know about that.
I don't know if I've ever really come across anybody who is truly dealing with anxiety and they came across as cold and bitchy. They may be aloof.
Yes.
Or they may be, they may isolate themselves sometimes, but truly being cold or bitchy,
it's like
in a
really
in a situation where it's not somebody fucking with them. I haven't ever really come across that. So I guess, but again, it goes back to what I just said. If you don't know yourself, if you're not doing anything to treat your anxiety, which again, that should have been number one. If you have anxiety or if you think you have anxiety, go talk to someone, see if it's clinical, see if they're, you may need to talk to someone, you may need a medication.
Yeah.
Because one of my closest friends deals with anxiety. And anxiety is not the type of thing that you can just tell it, I'm not going to let you do this. That's not how that works.
No, it's way more subtle.
To think that you could say, I'm not going to let my anxiety make me into a bitch, that's wishful thinking at best.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about this one. I'm not saying that it's not possible. It's just not something that I've dealt with. But again, I don't think you would be properly equipped to handle this or not let this happen if you are not in tune with yourself and with your anxiety and treating it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think here is that when I get anxious personally, what I do is like fake my way through it, and I may be like just too much and extra, and that you can tell that I'm anxious,
right?
But not like cold bitch, like it's
right, because most people who deal with anxiety, they have triggers, they have tells.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I get anxious, a lot of times I sweat, but it's only from like my forehead. Like the rest, because some people they full body sweat. I usually don't full body sweat, but if I'm like embarrassed or if I'm anxious, then that forehead region turns into fucking Niagara Falls. And I'm not drenched, okay? Thunderstorms. But I'm not bitchy. I'm not being cold to people. So I wonder if the writer had someone in particular in mind when they wrote this, or if they were thinking of themselves. Because I just widespread, I haven't really heard of people who deal with anxiety being bitchy or cold.
Yeah. So.
Although cold could be a relative term, because what I call aloof could be cold to someone else.
Yeah, not receptive and all that. Yeah.
Right, but bitchy, I've not heard that. Okay, so the next one says, utilize liquid courage wisely. I feel like anxiety and alcohol already don't mix.
Yeah.
That doesn't...
I don't know about her. I don't drink alcohol, so it's like, this one was like, okay, that's not me.
I forgot. You are an infant.
Well, I'm sorry. Like, I mean, in France, like, you can drink at 18, so...
Well, okay, because in France, y'all be drinking wine at like 8.
These niggas do drink wines.
French people drink wine with everything.
The thing is, wine here is like cheap. Like, it's like cheap AF because everybody is doing wine, so it's like $4.
But I can see someone being like, okay, I'm going to build up my courage. I'm not going to let my anxiety stop me. And I'm going to, take a shot and I'm going to go talk to that person. So I can understand it, but I agree. It needs to be in moderation because you don't want to get, you don't want to be sauced.
Yeah. Then again, it's like,
somebody because then you don't know what's going to happen.
It's like self-acknowledgement of how much you can take as far as alcohol go. And piggyback off to what you said is
Right.
just knowing yourself. It's
Know
like
thyself.
knowing,
Listen.
okay,
Listen.
how can I take? How much can I take to be to the state where my anxiety would not,
Right.
impact the way I'm going to behave?
It's like
Just loosen up a little bit. Let's just
enough
enhance
to
a little bit.
calm your nerves, but
Hmm.
not enough to be inebriated and change your personality or
Yeah, to a
enhance your
whole new
person,
person.
enhance certain parts of your personality, which may be too much.
Yeah,
I just, be careful with that. Next
definitely.
up, it says, don't date a bad communicator or texter. Uh,
This one is triggering.
Honestly, I feel like this is advice for anybody. Like whether you have anxiety or not, who the fuck
Oh
has
yeah.
time to be dealing with somebody that is a bad
Mm.
communicator or a bad texter? And that
I will.
not to say for you people like I get up for everybody, I rise and grind. I get up before the worms and get the whatever that shit y'all be talking about. People
Mm.
that are genuinely busy, that's one thing, but just because usually a bad texter or a bad communicator means that he's just not that into you, which
That part.
can make you
That part.
feel anxious because you are trying to figure out why they're not that into you, why they're not communicating the way you would like them to.
Yeah.
So I agree with this. Maybe it's a little bit more pressing if you deal with anxiety, but I just think this is general advice. Like I don't deal with anxiety per se, but I also don't have time to waste. I don't like my time being wasted. So if you're a bad
True.
texter or a bad
Mm.
communicator, then there's not
Yeah.
much we can do because I don't want to sit up talking to you all. I don't enjoy talking on the phone that much unless it's certain people.
Mm.
And I used to be a heavy, heavy, heavy texter, and even that I'm starting to be like, whatever. I don't.
Yeah, that
That ain't
Yeah,
that
but the
much to
thing
talk
is,
about.
here, the thing is, like, for me, for this like type of advice is more so, are you the kind of person that needs that emotional, affection on a regular basis? It's like, okay, I need my text every fucking day. The hey,
Right.
how you doing? Or, it's like, are you that type of
That
person? Okay,
reassurance.
reassurance, right? And
Yeah.
here, on its own, it's kind of an issue, but then again, it's like self-work and all that. But if I had like an advice to like add to it is that if you're in a situation with someone that is not that into you, like you just said, by and he's showing that through his action and not being really responsive to your text and all that, let's try like to address the situation and be like, because this is something that happens to me like a lot of time, like because I don't the thing that I don't really play games with people that I date, and I'm like really forward of how I feel and the way I go about things. And when they start to be, phony and not texting back and all that, I'm like, okay, so what are we doing here? Because I'm not gonna chase you. This is not happening. So
Listen.
either you can either step your game up or you can move along. But I'm not, like you just said, I don't like to waste time.
Yeah.
And the issue here is that people that may have anxiety, that might overlap on them being not too confrontational.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can see that.
So it's like, what are we doing? Because bad, like you just said, someone that doesn't text you back and is in a bad communication is just not that into you. And those people are already toxic because what they would do is just keep you, like they mentioned on the Love Is Em in the podcast, like they will give you like breadcrumbs for you like to still be hooked to them, but they will not give you the time of
Right.
day unless
Right.
it is on their
Yeah.
terms.
And that's a whole different episode. Those people
And
that
that is
and they
and
talked
that
about
is
that. What was that? Was that the read where they talked about that? Where they were talking about
situationship. Yeah, I think there
guys
was
who
later. Yeah.
get their jollies or they get their confidence from having those people hanging on by a thread
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
that
they do
attention
that.
from them.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I agree with what you said, and I would say it's also a matter of again knowing yourself and setting some boundaries for yourself. Like for
Exactly.
me, it's a because I know I don't like to have my time wasted and my patience grow my patience, which I've never really had a lot of patience, but it grows ever it just, it's like one of those time turners, and the
Yeah, it
patience is just
is.
coming out the bottom, and there's not much at the top. There never was, and
That's
it's
true.
slowly coming out the bottom. So I would say what I do is I have a rule where
Mm.
it's like I'm only going to try to contact you so many times before I throw you to the
Yeah, before I
side.
like, yeah,
Now
definitely.
there are different factors. Maybe if I liked you, maybe if the head was good or whatever,
Mm.
then I may not delete your number right away.
Yeah.
But if you didn't even get that far and you are bad at communicating, then you don't need to be on my phone or I block, whatever
That's
the case may be. So my
mm,
suggestion would be, especially if you deal with anxiety, to set some boundaries and some ground rules.
yeah.
And
But it depends on
if it's
people.
somebody that you're dating and not
Yeah.
dating one sided, like they know that you're dating too, because
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us get caught up where we say we're dating somebody and we're dating alone. We're dating by our
Oof.
damn self,
Whew.
which is a whole
Triggering.
nother thing. I'm just
Triggered.
saying, have some rules so that you don't get caught up in that. Okay, so
Yes.
we got what, two more, and then we can move on. It says oh no, wait, three more. Sorry. So it says don't feel guilty if you need to ask for clarification or
This
reassurance
is what you
about your
just said. Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we had
Doing
just talked about
something.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's pretty much like have this moment when you're like, okay, what are we doing?
Right.
Because I need to know
If,
so that
like I
I can move
said,
forward and be on the
if
same
it's a
page. That's
real
it.
dating situation, if you're in an actual relationship and you're not in a relationship by yourself, and you've
Mm-hmm.
had that, or you should be comfortable enough to have that conversation. And if you are in a
Yeah,
situation with someone where you don't feel comfortable talking to them about your issues that you may have, then that is not a situation you need to be
exactly,
in. And
exactly. And
we
most
talk
people
about
get
that a
that.
lot, and to be honest, I see it on Twitter all the time. And
Mm.
people, like I said, a lot of time y'all's insecurities and your fears and your
Ooh,
general fucked upness comes out in the jokes. You think that shit is funny, but people like me who read between the lines, we see that shit. Y'all be hurting and y'all fucked up. Y'all don't know how to communicate,
true, true,
and
true. Into fucked up shit.
y'all are in
Mm-hmm.
situations where you scared, or you, whatever the case may be, you don't have whatever it is needed in that situation to have open dialogue.
Mm, true.
And that, personally, for me, to me,
To me,
if I am not comfortable expressing myself fully and freely, then
that's telling.
we don't need to be
Together.
together. We don't need to be in the same space.
True.
That's not a healthy relationship. If you scared to
Mm,
bring something up because you don't know how the person's going to react, or you scared they're going to leave you, or what, then that's not a situation you need to be in. And for
exactly.
somebody with anxiety, that definitely is not a situation you need to be anywhere near. And and another thing, just because of the wording of this, if you are in a situation where a person who you are dating or in a relationship with, if they make you feel guilty, then again, that's not a situation you need to be in, because you have, people, listen, people are manipulators, and they prey on that kind of stuff.
And
So
they will live off of your anxiety and your
absolutely.
fear of losing
Listen,
them.
they will
They
listen.
will.
If you don't be careful, you will find yourself dating a motherfucker that's like hexes from Fern Gully. They feed on your
Mm-mm.
fear and the pollution of your mind. And then the next thing you know, you got this big huff of smoke motherfucker, and you're like, how the fuck did I get in this situation? So,
Mm-mm-mm.
yeah. Okay, so next up it says, be honest about your fears. I feel like we just touched on that.
Yeah.
Again,
Okay, hold on. Sorry.
Go ahead.
There's a part in the article that says fears such as worried he's going to cheat on you. That is something.
That's a low.
That's personally, I think that if you're in a relationship with whomever, right,
Uh-huh.
and you are afraid that he's going to cheat on you, he or her, whatever, that is telling of the situation that you are in, right?
Well, not necessarily. I think it depends on on the source of the fear, because you have to, again, you have to know thyself
Hmm.
and know, okay, is this an innate fear that I have no matter who I'm dating, or is this a fear that I have because of something that they're doing or that I'm seeing? Like, it, depending on the source, it could lead to a different conversation and a different resolution. Because
Yeah.
if that person is making you feel like they're gonna cheat on you, that's a different conversation than I don't trust no fucking body, and I probably need to talk to a licensed professional to
That's
help
true.
me deal with that issue. You get what I'm saying?
Perhaps it might be like a just trust,
Right.
issue that from everybody. But if it is in situation where I'm genuinely, afraid that my significant other might cheat on me, for me, as far as like you pick up of what you said about boundaries and rules, is like just for self-respect and self, uh, like mental illness type of like situation, is that I don't want to be in a situation where I'm like afraid all the time, because I've been in that situation,
Absolutely. That's number one.
like
It's
in
exhausting.
when I've encountered my first like DL dude or whatever. I've
Oh
been in a
God.
situation where it's like I was every time he wouldn't answer back to a text, or he wouldn't, talk about or anything, it would be like, oh my God, this is over. And I was like, you know what? I'm through. Like I could not support this any longer. This is giving me like anxiety, like real hard, to a point when I can focus at school. I just like can't think about anything else. And it's like, okay, this is too much, right? And if you're like afraid of somebody cheating on you to a point, like even though they done nothing and they even did not give you like signs of them cheating, there's something there that needs to be worked on.
Right.
And clearly, like it's just you can't live, and this is where people a lot of time people stays in these like toxic relationship when they are miserable all the time, and you're like, what's the point? You know what I mean? It is okay, even though that person did not cheat on you. If you feel this way all the time, it's like a you problem that you need to focus on your own. And by staying with them in that state, I think you just like give them like a disservice more than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I think, like I said, it depends on the source how you go about handling it.
Yes.
Like I said, if you dealing with somebody and every time you look up they flirting in person or they flirting online, and that makes you feel a way, that again, that's different than if you have like trust issues. But at the end of the day, you have to know thyself.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. It says ask your friends for advice. I'm gonna preface this and say ask the right friends for
Yeah,
advice.
as the real ones that will be true with you and tell you what's good
Well,
beside of your feelings.
not
For me,
only,
that's what
yeah,
that's what I
yeah.
like for
The
me.
last part you said it, because we a lot of times we don't define our friendships. We say, okay, this is my friend, and this is, if you're my friend, then I should be able to talk to you. But we have
Hmm.
to know because not all of our friends are tactful.
Yeah.
Not all of our friends have patience. And especially
True.
if it's a situation that you've been dealing with for some length of time that they've been aware of, then they may have run out of patience with your ass.
True.
And and again, but the main thing is that I found is we have to be mindful of the friends that are tactful, because when you're in a different state of mind, whether it's from anxiety, depression, or if you're just having a bad day or a bad situation,
Hmm.
then we need advice, or we need conversations with people, friends, family, whoever it may be, that we can receive.
Yeah.
You know what I
True.
mean? So if
Yeah.
you are going through a situation, if you are, scared your boyfriend is cheating on you and it's making you feel anxiety, and you go to a friend and their delivery is not what you need, it's only going to make it worse.
Tr-
Either it's
True.
going to
True.
make it
True. True.
worse on you, or
Hmm.
it's going to lead to a situation where now you are at odds with your friend because you feel like they don't understand you. And it may be that they're saying something that makes sense, but because it's not packaged in a way that you can process in that state of mind, it
I
becomes an issue. So you really have to be mindful of which friends you're getting advice from at
mm,
which times, and you also kind of, yep. I mean, it's a lot of factors. You kind of have to be mindful
yeah, definitely.
of their mental state and their emotional state,
Hmm.
because you see situations where you try to go to a friend and get some sympathy and whatever you need, and they may be in a bad place, and they
Mm.
may lash out, so just you again. But this is one of those things where it's knowing yourself, but it's also knowing the people around you. When you cultivate a good circle around you, then this is not as difficult.
And it's
And
not, but I think some like one needs to be able to be in a state to receive, advices, because you mentioned being, tactful and all that, but if you're in a mind state that doesn't really allow you to hear other perspective, on your own situations, you might take everything as being, not what you needed. You know what I mean?
well, yeah,
So
but
if you're
that
like
goes
asking for,
into that the level of friendship. Like, I can say that friends of mine, they know when, because we're close enough. Like, I'll use Nikki for example. Nikki knows that if I have been kind of unplugged for a while, she knows to give it time, because she knows I'm not in a place where I don't want to hear about the scripture that you just read this morning. I don't want to hear some
okay.
good feeling stuff. You know what I mean? But and that's why I
Hmm.
say tact is not just necessarily how what they say is delivered. It may just be, now is not a time for me to deliver it at all, because they're not in a place to receive it. You know what I mean? So that's why I say you really have to have those good friendships. It can't just be like a fair weather friend or an on the fringe friend, because 9 times out of 10, or probably 10 times out of 9, you're not gonna get what you need, because y'all don't have that connection. Like, it's been since 2016, and I've talked about this on this show. I have been cultivating that friendship circle. I've been very, very meticulous of who I call friend, who I depend on, who I tell things, because of what I've received. I've analyzed what the situation, and the friendship that we've had, and I've kind of put them at different levels. So I know that if I'm going through something where it's, a dating situation, and I may feel anxious or whatever the case may be, I may not necessarily need to tap into my close. I may not need to talk to Nikki about it. I can talk to somebody who I feel like may have more experience with what I'm talking about. But if it's something deep, and I feel like I want to talk to a certain person, or I want to hear something, I know my friends, and I know our friendships well enough, and they know me well enough, that that's not really something that I have to deal with. But also, it takes work. You know what I mean? Like, there's work that I did in advance. It's not just that we friends, and now either they have to know if I'm in a place to receive, or they have to be especially tactful. It's natural, because we've already done that work. We know each other well enough, and it doesn't have to have a preface of how am I going to get this message to this person. Like, does
Mm.
that make sense?
It does.
But
It
I
does.
I totally agree with what you're saying. It just depends on who you're going to and the level of friendship. Because if you just met homegirl in the club last week, and y'all bonded over single ladies dance moves, that may not be the person
Yeah,
that
that may
you
not be the
go
person
to.
that
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it's
Because
provides
you
you.
you fuck
Hmm.
around and be like, yeah, I tried to talk to this dude, or I've been dating this dude, and he just make me feel some kind of way. Next thing you know, this motherfucker fucking your man. Anyway, I don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a good whole ass tangent.
So I think that is gonna wrap this up. Hopefully, you guys got some good
Mm.
tips if you deal with anxiety with trying to date. These articles you always kind of have to take with a grain of salt, because a lot of it, the writers come through, and the things that they say, and sometimes the points don't make sense or they really don't apply. But I thought overall this was pretty good. So we're going to wrap up the show with the queer query, so that way my listeners can get a little bit more of you with a different twist.
Question.
Okay.
First question. If you had the power to change one thing in the LGBT community, what would it be?
One thing, it would be the mask and femme conversation, and how
That's a good one.
yeah, it's like at the end of the day, shots, everybody's gay. Like, okay, like, come on, like, femme, mask, all that does not make you better of a human being because you're masculine. It really does not. You're still
I mean, if we're going to be honest, usually it makes you a worse human being, but that's not
first.
here nor there.
That part, but it's like, because as far as myself and as I identify as femme or mask, I'm like in this weird, state where I'm like not none the other, because I have the privilege to be like straight presenting, right?
Yeah.
You see me on the street, you wouldn't, I don't, fit to the femme stereotype. But when I start talking with you, you're like, oh, perhaps, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's always like a situation where I'm like in the middle, because I'm not I'm not masked.
In
In between, but I'm not femme because I don't because femme are the ones that are really, getting discriminated against and have the tough life of being who they are, right?
Right.
And I don't have that. I have the privilege to be straight presenting. And the fact that some people, a lot of gay guys, a lot of black gay dudes would, have this fantasy of the alpha male DL nigga that is, the
or the
grand
Abercrombie
prize.
and Fitch or the jock, or I know what you mean.
And the thing is, like, I mean, it's cute, it's a kiki, like they're financial, all that, but ultimately, like, you're hurting yourself and everybody else by uplifting these bodies, these behaviors, okay, that are like what straight men are, you know what I mean? And these same straight dudes would not give you the time of day and perhaps even kill you. And you're still like uplifting this kind of behavior. And I'm like, what are you doing? Okay. And it's like, I don't know, just get really on my nerves.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I get it.
It's like something that because personally, I don't really hearing friends have like a huge LGBT community around me, like on a day to day beside of social media. But yeah, this is the one thing that was like, okay, bye.
Yeah. For me, I would say judgment. And that could be all encompassing. It includes a little bit of what you talked about. If we could just tone down the judgment.
People are quick to judge you.
And if you really pay attention, gay men especially will judge on the most trivial of things. Like, even because we talked about the Queen earlier, like, a lot of times it's jokes, that's true, but some of y'all really take it serious if my order of favorite Beyonce albums is not what you think it should be. Like, y'all take that to
judge
heart.
The fuck out of you,
and you start judging. We judge on how we look, because we, I've touched on it before about how a lot of times gays don't want to support nobody unless they're attractive. Gay men specifically, I should say. And y'all can debate your granny. I don't really care what you have to say about that. It's true.
It is a fact.
There's just so many different facets where judgment just comes in, and it's so ugly and it's so prominent. So if I had that power, I would be like, get judgment the fuck out of here. Okay, next question. If you could pitch a TV show or movie, what would it be about, and what channel or movie studio would you want to produce it?
Okay, so I would like a show like a upgraded version of Noah's Ark, but I would like to be in the cast people that are transgender, non-binary, and I want someone to be like transitioning, in the middle of transition, so that we can really have
to represent more of the community.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't want just black people. I would like a really diverse ass
Yeah.
cast. I want Indian, I want Asian, I want my Latinx, Native American, and I want to be called like intersectionality and how different aspects of who you are can overlap, how different struggles can overlap themselves, and how it translates in life. I want the show to be
Right.
like a 20-minute long, comedy type comedy, but with no not like a sitcom with laugh and all that. No, I want it to be chill, like in a insecure type of way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like be able to laugh a lot, but also to have this real ass moment in conversations about being queer folks of color in the U.S. Right?
Right.
And would have to be written by queer people of color because there's
Absolutely.
yeah, because those are really sensitive, topics that cannot be handled by someone from the outside. Okay, it
Yeah.
just
I mean,
cannot. It
usually
just
they can't because they just don't understand.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if you want to the show to be successful and to be funny without being offensive, that's going to be the real thing here. It's like being funny without it's offensive
Honestly,
and
being anything and not being offensive, touching on issues and not
yeah,
offending. Yeah.
not offending anybody, not silencing people for being mad or anything. Like I would like that type of show. This is what I would love to watch.
Okay.
Like or Netflix. Either Netflix can do great show too. Yeah, Netflix. Netflix can produce it or HBO.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Mine is quick. Mine could be a show or like a movie, hopefully like a franchise. But
Oh,
honestly, I just would like to see um honestly what I'm envisioning and what, hopefully maybe one day I can bring to fruition. I want to see some sci-fi type shit with an openly gay
yes.
protagonist.
Yeah.
I don't want none of that. Is he or isn't he? Or he's
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
gay, but he don't never have nobody. He don't never have no sex scenes or stuff like that because they trying to keep it, palatable. I want like just a nitty gritty. Like I'm thinking underworld with a gay main character.
Ooh.
You know
Or
what I
think of
mean?
yeah, or perhaps like Doctor Who, but with a black gay man,
Yeah,
perhaps.
I'm any of those. Doctor
Any
Who,
of those.
one of the superheroes from the
That would be
MCU, just something like
everything.
that where the person is gay. You don't
Mm.
have to wonder about it, but that at the same time, and then you have to toe that line of their sexuality is acknowledged, but it's not a plot device. It's not a main like okay, I'm not being chased by goblins because I'm gay or no
Mm.
weird shit like that.
Okay, that's cool. That I
And the
would
reason
love.
why I said a series is because as a gay black man, I would want to see a gay black man, but at the same time, I want to see everybody. Like I would love to see a transgender superhero. Personally,
Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
you know what I
definitely.
mean. So that may
Definitely.
be an element of the series, or maybe you know what I mean. Maybe it's like an anthology type thing on HBO or
Ooh.
FX, where okay, this season is going to be a gay black man, next season is going to be a trans woman, the next season is going to be a lesbian. Because I feel like lesbians don't get their just due. It's like lesbians. I feel
No, they
like
don't.
in the media they are used exhaustively for like emotional baggage and
They
that you
are.
know what I
They
mean?
are.
Because it's like every time you see some lesbians in something, it's so emotional and dramatic, and it's like I would just like to see some lesbians kicking some ass.
Well, there's I don't know if you watch the show Black Lightning on
I have
CW.
not. I
You
know that
should
there's.
watch
I've been meaning to,
because
but I'm trash. But I
yeah,
know there's
because
a
the
lesbian black woman on there,
yeah,
and so
she's the daughter.
it's moving in. You know what I mean? Like I said, that's moving in the direction, but
Mm.
at the same time, but she's not the star.
She's not. She. I'm not. I don't want to like give it too much because I don't want to spoil it
She's
for you.
she's supporting cast, I know, but when I say the star, I mean like
I want to
Black
be the main
Lightning.
bitch.
Black
Yeah. Okay.
Lightning
I get
is
it.
not her, is what I'm saying. You know what I
True.
mean? Like
True.
when you say the titular character, I want
Mm.
it to be that person. If it was a
Mm.
Black Panther, I would want Black Panther. I don't want them to be an ancillary character or a part of a trio but you still have that main character is the straight person. I want someone
Yeah,
from the
get it.
community to be that main person.
To be the main person, yeah, all the time. Yeah, definitely agree with you.
Okay, last question, and then we can get out of here because we have been jaw the fuck jacking. Okay, back to the Queen.
The one and
Rank
only
rank these Beyonce featuring Jay-Z songs. That is important. It's Beyonce featuring Jay-Z
Jay-Z. Yes.
from most to least favorite. So, Deja Vu, Drunk in Love,
Mm,
Upgrade You,
mm.
and Crazy in Love.
Okay, so that's hard for me because one of my favorite Jay-Z Beyonce songs is not on there. It's like That's How I Like It from Dancing in Love.
Oh, I didn't put that on there on purpose because I hate that fucking song.
I love it so much.
I despise
Girl.
that song. Like that.
Okay.
That is definitely in my top 3 of all time Beyonce songs that I hate.
Really? It's so good.
I hate
Okay,
that song.
whatever.
Sorry, you don't have to deal with the 4 that I listed because I don't like that song. And it's my show.
Yeah. So and how about Bonnie and Clyde though? Don't you like this one as well?
That's not a Beyonce featuring Jay-Z.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Okay.
a Jay-Z featuring
All right.
Beyonce.
All right. So first is Upgrade You for me.
Okay,
Like,
I can dig that.
Upgrade You is my shit. So yeah. Then I don't know. Okay, Drunk in Love, then Crazy in Love, and then Deja Vu
Okay.
for me.
Okay.
Because I feel as though Deja Vu and Crazy in Love are the one that are everywhere, and because I've listened to them so many times, like okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Upgrade You is the one song that get me my booty shaking, and I could not just not dance when I hear this song. Like it's a whole choreo to it that I know and that I could perform everywhere at any time of the day. So Upgrade You is like the number one of my top 5, Beyonce song ever. So yeah.
I think I agree with your listing. Although, I mean, depending on my mood,
Mhm.
Deja Vu and Crazy in Love may switch. But,
Yeah.
And before y'all get out your pitchforks and your torches and your mean Twitter threads, I don't go up for Deja Vu like a lot of gays do.
Yeah, I don't.
So that's why it's lower on my list. I like the song.
I liked it, but I remember as a kid not being as crazy as I should be about it. I remember being like, I don't like this one that much. You know what I mean?
Because when I listened to B-Day and I heard Upgrade You, I was like, well, I'm for Upgrade You. Like
First,
Deja
yeah.
Vu is cute, but it's not number
It's
one
not
for
Upgrade You.
me. To me, for me, by me, FUBU.
FUBU.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I agree. Upgrade You is definitely up, and I almost didn't even put Upgrade You on this list. But anyway. So with that being said, you guys, that is going to wrap up this episode of Gayside Stories. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tell people where they can find you and your podcast, esteemed guest.
Okay, so you can find my podcast on Twitter at Get Into It, not Get Into Pod, and on Insta at Get Into It Pod. I'm everywhere you can find podcasts from, Apple Music, Acast, Castbox, whatever, everywhere. And if you want to look something pretty, go on the Tumblr of the show. It's called Get Into World, and it's really pretty. So if you want to have pretty to look at, you might get your life on there.
Come on, visuals.
Yeah, girl, I'm working the visuals.
All right.
Beyonce taught me.
I'm here for it. All right, you guys, remember, go to GaysideStories.com for more information. Email me at GaysideStories@gmail.com. You can follow and interact on Twitter and Instagram. It's at GaysideStories. Facebook.com/GaysideStories. And the Facebook group is #GaysidePod. The show, you can find it pretty much everywhere that Phalou just said. Acast, whatever else you just said, because I can't remember.
Stitcher,
all of those good things. Make sure that you are subscribed and listening. Hopefully you guys listen every week. If you like what I am doing, you like what you hear, you want to encourage me, the best way to do so is to head on over to Apple Podcasts or whatever app will let you leave a review. It helps with the visibility and all of that good stuff. You hear this on every podcast. guys, I know I don't need to say it, but we encourage you to do so because it really does
Yes,
help with our
it does.
numbers and more people being exposed to the shows that we are doing. Thank you so much
Mm-mm-mm.
for listening. You could be listening to any podcast, but you took this hour and a half, give or take, to listen to this one, and I appreciate it.
Mm.
And
Well,
as
thank you for having me.
always, no. Thank you for coming. You know, this was a collaboration that was in the mix, and so I'm glad that we were able to do it.
Yeah, me too.
And I
I'm really
had
happy to.
fun, and I feel like the conversation that we had was just real dope. Hopefully, there were some gems in there. If there were, tweet them to us. I'm gonna steal that little bit from Kevin over at the outline. You know, if I said anything, or if we said anything that you were like, "Ooh, come on, preach," then go ahead and tweet it.
Yes. Yeah.
And as always, remember the lost commandment: Thou shalt protect thy
The
walls,
walls
or they will crumble.
we crumble.
Have your ass out here looking the fuck stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And we are
Bye
out. Bye, guys.
bye.